to ensure that this becomes part of the bill?
Well done.
My Lords, I rise to offer my support for both of these amendments. Amendment 1, so ably introduced by the Noble Lord Teverson, also backed by the Noble Lady Baroness Jones of Whitchurch, to which I've been pleased to attach my name. And also Amendment 21, in the name of the Noble Lord Bird, also signed by the Noble Lady Baroness Boycott. In introducing the amendments, the Noble Lord Teverson took the time frame from when we last debated the bill to today and looked at what's happened in that time frame. I'd like to take a different time frame, which is to go back to when this bill was first introduced, which was October 15, 2019. A lot has happened since then. Obviously, we've had and have a global pandemic, which is related to our biodiversity and climate crises. But what we've seen in reaction to that global pandemic is enormous, massive, rapid change. We've seen the invention from scratch of highly effective new vaccines from a range of technologies. We've seen billions of doses of those vaccines already delivered. We've seen transformation on an almost daily scale of our entire way of life. The previously obscure word lockdown has become daily currency. International travel has almost stopped. Zoom has become a verb. On climate, what's happened in those 2 years? Well, emissions fell in 2020, chiefly because of the pandemic, but a lot less than people expected. They've then started to rise again. What we've seen is Extinction Rebellion out on our streets regularly. We've seen the climate strikers become part of the national life of countries all around the world. But what we've yet to see is the kind of scale of reaction that we need to these emergencies that are on the same scale as the pandemic. Just look at the contrast between those two scales of reaction. And look at the fact that this bill was written 2 years ago in the age of shocks, with time moving so fast. That is an age. And what this amendment does, Amendment 1, is updates this bill to be fit for today, as it must be, and creates the frame for it to be fit for the future. Now, just very briefly to address Amendment 21, I think this is particularly important because we are starting to see in news coverage the word resilience, which was once an extremely rare occurrence, starting to rise up the news agenda, and I speak as a former journalist. And what Amendment 21 seeks to do is address the risks, to identify the risks, to report on the risk. And I think I particularly want to focus on Clause 2C, which seeks to ensure that the views of 11 to 25-year-olds in the United Kingdom are continuously engaged in debating on these risks. And I want to reflect on that because yesterday I was in Sheffield, where I joined the Young Christian Climate Network, who were on a pilgrimage from Truro to Glasgow. A deliberately very slow pilgrimage, stopping in as many communities up and down the land as they possibly can, to engage communities and particularly engage young people in this issue. They are leading climate strikers, young pilgrims, Extinction Rebellion. What this amendment does is ensures that the government is at least in a place, and this bill is in the right place to catch up.